markets in which all of our companies operate are highly competitive. More and more entrants come into the market every day, and in order to compete we need to be competitive. In order to be competitive we need to have a clear view about what our strengths and weaknesses are in terms of entering into the market, where there are opportunities, where there are challenges, and where there are challenges, how we meet those challenges. And really the essence of the market scoping mission, which was carried out last month, was really to look at the various markets and to understand the dynamics and to understand what the opportunities and where the challenges lay, and to make an informed decision which we will share with the companies today and throughout the course of the week in terms of what that means. The markets, well, as you know, are France, the Netherlands and the United Kingdom. All quite different, all offering, let's say, challenges in their own right. One of the decisions that we took fairly early on in the process in terms of where we would go during the mission was to say, do we necessarily need to be always targeting capital cities and capital city regions, which would tend to be the more traditional view, because quite frankly that's where most people end up going. So there were no hard and fast rules. It was really where we felt we would learn the most, make the most beneficial connections with organizations and institutions. Those are institutions that get what we're trying to do with this innovative program, and not just get it, but are happy to work with us and to cooperate with us in meaningful ways. As part of that, what we've tried to do is to look at the individual supply chains and value chains within the sectors, assess the opportunities that they represent, consider various market access opportunities, the lessons learned, the recommendations. So part of what we're trying to do is to say, don't always look at the traditional markets because everybody has always gone the same way and looked at the same markets. Maybe there are different, more realistic, in theory, smaller opportunities, but in practice, bigger opportunities. So that's what we try to do as part of this mission. So very quickly, what we've seen over the last 15 to 20 years is what we call a triple helix, which is how the public sector, private sector, and education work together. And virtually all countries within Europe would have their triple helix model. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that from a European perspective, if you look at what is happening across most of the countries, most of the really interesting, exciting, dynamic things which are happening within the context of clusters. And it's not just clusters in a traditional sense, but what we're finding now, and where we're having now cross-border clusters, international clusters working together. And so if you're looking for markets in Europe, you have to understand what the relationship is, particularly with the clusters, the enterprise networks, incubators, accelerators, in elevators. Big phenomenon in not just Europe, but including and particularly in Europe, is this whole issue about global entrepreneurs. Success and competitiveness is no longer defined by the size of a company. It's more defined by their competitiveness and by their reach. And largely through digital networks, companies of a very small size can now do things that 10 years ago they could never have dreamed of. But the most demanding people, but also our biggest allies, are what we call the rainmakers and the game changers. I can think of a number of people that we met who would fall into this category. Somebody who said, I get what you guys are about, and I'm going to pick up a phone and introduce you to somebody that I know who could be interested in this. The price of participation with people like that is that you have to commit. You really have to commit. If they do you or they do us a favor, we have to respond. And we don't let them down and saying, well, no, I'm sorry, we can't make it, we can't do that. Because that's the standard. If you want to compete in this new Europe, that's the standard that we expect.